To me, the E-Class Mercedes-Benz has always conjured up an image of being older, more polite. It's certainly the most stylish car in its class, but it always looks as though it would prefer an afternoon at the country club, playing tennis. So then, why are we at a racetrack? We're at Swartkorps because this is not the tennis-playing E-Class. This is the E63 AMG, and the only time it would pick up a racket would be in order to beat you to death with it. This is the E-Class that's had an attitude transplant. It's not old, it's not polite, it is AMG power in a big, brutal-looking package. It's easy to pick out the most obvious bits like the 18-inch wheels or the quad tailpipes, but it's the subtle details that I like. The new bumper with its little gills, the rear spoiler, and my favorite bit, this crease behind the front wheel arch. I like the look of Mercedes-Benz's C63, but I parked next to one the other day and the E63 makes it look a little junior. It's not the size, it's the whole attitude of this car. It's amazing how, in the rest of the range, the front end looks attractive and stylish, but in this car, it looks utterly intimidating. I like it. And then you step inside and it kind of reverts to being standard Mercedes-Benz. There is the race control section in the middle which controls the dampers and such like, but besides that, there's almost nothing to point towards this car's real performance potential. But that's not the reason I don't like it. No, I don't like it because this dashboard is massively slabby. Sure, there's a screen and a lot of buttons and other stuff to break it up, but the whole setup is almost completely vertical. The brown and beige color scheme is also a bit of a mismatch considering this car is aimed at those who prefer lashings of power rather than lashings of avant-garde styling. But in true Mercedes-Benz style, it has everything, from fully electric seats with automatic bolsters and massage function, right down to dual-zone climate control in the back. There's nothing more you could ask for in here, and even though it is rather odd-looking, it's so comfortable you just want to spend as much time as possible in it. This is AMG's tried and trusted 6.2 litre V8, 386 kilowatts, 630 Newton meters. 0 to 100 time is just 4.5 seconds, top speed limited to 250 kilometers an hour. Now, if you think those figures sound good just talking about them, you must hear what they sound like in action. It is a beautiful thing. Amazingly, behind the wheel of the E63, there's almost zero engine noise, even when you're getting up to some serious speed. Almost all the noise you hear comes from the back end. But there are very good and very bad sides to having this much power in a car like this. So, what does 630 Newton meters feel like? Well, pretty frustrating, because unless you're on a completely straight and dry road, this car struggles for grip off the line. In fact, it'll spin its wheels through the second and even third gears. And while the wheels are spinning and the back end is twitching and the ESP is doing its thing, you're feeling not too inspired. Make no mistake though, once the rubber finds some tarmac to stick to, this Merc becomes epically quick. The blend of shove and noise makes you want to jam your foot into the thick pile carpet as often as you can. Only problem is the E63 destroys the distance so quickly that before you know it, the fun is over and you're leaning on the optional ceramic composite brakes to avoid an insurance claim. I'll tell you something, there's not much feel in the steering, but you can kind of forgive it when you feel how much grip there is and how well this car handles its weight through some serious corners at some serious speeds. It's it's just such a pity that almost no E63 drivers will ever know how good this car really is through the corners. The E63 will happily blast you around a racetrack, but most owners will happily trundle through traffic, pushing buttons on the slabby dashboard while enjoying a massage. Its superpowers will remain pretty much dormant, mostly unappreciated, and sadly unused. Even though you're able to dial in various degrees of scariness thanks to the AMG control center, it takes a lot to make this car behave like a hooligan. Most of the time, even if you try, the electronic nannies will step in, cut the power, and you'll corner like this. As you'd expect of a car costing over $1 million, the E63 AMG has got a lot going for it. Decent looks, great handling, and a superb engine. And on top of all of that, not much competition in this segment. In fact, the only thing I can think of is Audi's almighty RS6. And while the E63 isn't as hardcore as that car, on an everyday basis, it's just as good. The E63 AMG is a great package with everything you need for some serious performance thrills, or a drive to the office. The interior is well sorted and easy enough to use, but the slabby dashboard and color scheme are a bit of a mismatch with the car's personality.